Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. My name's Haas. Today we're going to be looking at Polkadot and KSM, and we're going to be talking about the whole Polkadot DeFi and what's going to be happening in the future. All right, let's get into it. So obviously today is a little bit more of a green day. We have Bitcoin sitting at around $59,000. Ethereum has broken that $1,800 mark and pushed into $1,900. So possibly we could see a move going into the 2,000. Obviously ADA is lagging a little bit behind, below $1.20. Not terribly concerning. I know some people might be concerned, but it shouldn't cause any concern for anybody. Polkadot is sitting at around roughly $37. It's been bouncing around that point all day, and we're going to be talking about that and KSM, and we'll also touch on Reef and the other parachains. So I did want to specifically take a little bit of a look at where Polkadot is right now. So obviously we had that little bit of a spike jumping up from the $33 mark. Now we did see that big wick down below even $27, which is pretty cheap in terms of Polkadot and where Polkadot can go. Now I know a lot of people here are probably a little bit more interested in Cardano, especially in terms of the smart contract platforms. But when you're looking at Polkadot versus Cardano, it's not really the same product. It's not going to be the same solution, whereas Cardano is a robust peer-reviewed process to update protocols within the system, whereas Polkadot is a little bit more freer in terms of that, but it could be detailed as more of an enterprise solution and more of a free reign solution rather than as restricted as Cardano could be or might be in the future. Not saying that one project is going to be better than the other. I'm just stating the differences between the two projects. I think both of them are probably represented at the right amount of value in terms of their evaluations, which is pretty much equal. And I like that, and I'd love to keep it that way because in my personal opinion, I'm as much a Polkadot bull as a ADA bull. So at the end of the day, for me, as long as they're both performing well and they're both valued at roughly the same value, then ultimately that's what matters for me. And we'll talk about value as well in terms of the market capitalization and everything, and discuss market capitalization and how that is a true value, not so much the price of the token, because some new people coming into the space might see $36 and be like, well, why would I buy Polkadot at $36 when I could buy Cardano at $1.18? And that's not the right way to look at it, because the price isn't necessarily the price of the token. The price is the value of the system. But like I said, we will talk about that during this video. So you might ask, is Polkadot a good buy? Now, I would argue that Polkadot was definitely a good buy below $30. Any Polkadot below $30 is a definite buy. Right now, it's a little bit higher than I would like. You see that it hasn't really peaked up above this point. So personally, I probably wouldn't be buying if I had a Polkadot position, which I do. So right now, I wouldn't be buying Polkadot. However, it was tempting for me, even though I was DCAing Polkadot during the initial launch, so roughly around a $4 dollar cost average. Still, to me, seeing it below $30 was very appealing. Unfortunately, I threw enough money in B Pro and won that I didn't really have enough to justify also buying some Polkadot. So I missed out on this dip, but that would have been a prime dip to buy in on. It's really in an unsupported level right now, but that doesn't mean that it can't go higher. And I do expect Polkadot to be a much higher evaluation than what it is right now. Before we talk about where Polkadot can go, I want to talk about where it has gone so far. Obviously, it's gone up a considerable amount during this bull run. It definitely made huge splashes when it moved from $17 all the way up to the $30 mark. But the real splashes were down here in the dollar cost average range. And now you'll notice this with a lot of projects coming out, and you might have already experienced this, especially if you're new and seen a lot of these new projects come out. Often what happens is they release and then they pump really hard and then they go on an extended bleed, which was the case for Polkadot. It pumped really hard. It went to roughly $6 and then bled down. And I was buying in all of these little dips here. So every time it dipped, I just bought. And this is exactly how you would act in a bear market situation, is you would buy the low points and ignore where the price action is going long term, because in terms of a bear market, the price action could be going down for months. So regardless, you need to be looking at the actual value of the system, not so much the price action at least in a bear market. In a bull market, it's a little bit of a different story. Obviously, when we entered the bull market, we were able to raise from our $5 mark into our $10 plus, and then eventually head to where we are now. In terms of where we can go in terms of price evaluation, now, of course, we don't have a lot of data on Polkadot. We also don't have a lot of data on Cardano. So a lot of these price targets are a lot of speculation. I would say that roughly with the system that Polkadot provides, I think that this system can at least do what Cardano could do, which I believe at the low end, Cardano from here can go to $5 by the end of the bull market. And again, that's the low end. So Cardano most likely will go a little bit higher than that. It could even go to $8. But the reason why I'm putting down the $5 mark and the 380 mark that I mentioned in a couple of videos ago is because I don't want people to get hung up on a specific price that they're going to sell at. You want to make sure that you start selling at key points so you're at least taking profits. You don't want to be sitting there holding the bag and expecting I'm going to sell 80% of my Cardano holdings at $5, right? Because if we only ever hit $4.90, you're never selling anything and then everything crashes and you didn't get anything. So it is important to have these price targets, but selling more as the price goes up and the price is a little bit more uncomfortable. That being said, I do think at this point we could easily see a 5x from Polkadot as well. But I think realistically, the price target that I'm looking for Polkadot to end the bull market in. Now, this isn't when I'm going to be taking profits. I'll most likely take profits around $80 or so. I'll probably start skimming off the top a little bit. But looking at the value of the system, where the system can go, and once Polkadot DeFi and the parachains are all live, I do think that we could see a $200 Polkadot. I really do believe in this number, and I'll explain that when we talk about market capitalizations as well. Now, I wouldn't be doing any justice to you guys if I didn't also mention KSM. Now, there's a lot of other parachain projects that you should get into in terms of like Reef, Moonbeam, PSwap. There's so many out there that you should look into and should research to get into. I am very bullish on Polkadot parachains, but KSM is a specific blockchain that I think every Polkadot holder and every Polkadot bull should have a little bit of KSM in their bags as well. Now, a big reason why I believe this is look at this chart. Now, I've said it before, short-term price action doesn't matter, but this chart is so impressive because if you look at it, it really hasn't done any like major downturns. Even during a bear market, it was generally trending upwards. You know, it may have been in the cheap points, and even down here, I wasn't really paying attention to KSM. I didn't actually start paying attention to KSM until I hit the $70 mark. But since that $70 mark, everything that I've put into KSM has just gradually increased. It's held the best in market dips. It's held the best in Bitcoin capitulations. And I personally believe, in my opinion, KSM is one of those sleeper blockchains that not enough people are investing in. So if you do own Polkadot, I highly recommend you pick up at least a little bit of KSM, especially on this dip. Because we can see with every dip of KSM, it never retraced back to its low levels. Once it hit the $315 mark, it really never looked back. And that's been a continuous trend that KSM has done. So I think at least for the short term, according to the trends of this chart, I don't think we will see under a $400 KSM for quite a while. Now, we could see this after a giant crash after the bull market. That's absolutely possible. Around these levels are where we're going to end up after the crash is what I believe personally. So it is possible that we do eventually see an under $400 KSM eventually, but realistically, I think KSM is going to be one of those projects to go well over $1,000. And again, I will explain that with market cap. So let's go into the market capitalization. So here we brought up Polkadot. We have a $36 billion market cap, which is roughly the same as Cardano, short a couple billion. And then we have a almost 1 billion circulating supply. So you might ask, why is Cardano $1.20 and Polkadot is $36 if they're roughly the same value? And the reason being is because Cardano has roughly 30 billion tokens in circulation, whereas Polkadot roughly has 1 billion in circulation. So the difference is how many tokens are available, which dictates the price of the token in correlation to the market. The market cap, the $36 billion, is the true value of the system. It is what Polkadot is valued at. So to put this in perspective, Apple is roughly a $1.8 trillion enterprise, but the stock is a few $100. Apple isn't worth a few $100s. It's worth the $1.8 trillion market cap, which is a combination of all the shares that the company has. It is roughly the same thing, except Polkadot isn't a company or an enterprise. Polkadot is a system. It's a decentralized network. Effectively, if you own one Polkadot token, so the $36, you own one token worth of the Polkadot system. And that Polkadot system entirely is worth $36 billion. So your $36 is a little piece of that $36 billion pie. So that is exactly how you should be looking at market caps in terms of determining the price of a system. So that's why the price of Polkadot, Cardano, or even Bitcoin, looking at Bitcoin being 60,000, really doesn't matter. When you're looking at just the price of the token is completely irrelevant. It is solely the market cap and the total price of the system that you should be valuing on whether or not a token is undervalue or overvalue. So with that, we can fully expect Polkadot to easily go over a $100 billion market cap within this market cycle. And again, I fully believe that we could roughly hit a $200 Polkadot. Just to do some rough math here, if we have roughly the circulating supply of Polkadot and we times that by 200, that brings us to a $196 billion market cap approximately is what Polkadot would need to achieve. I fully believe in Polkadot's capability. I fully believe in Cardano's capability as well to hit well above a $200 billion market cap. So I don't think there's any reason to suspect that Polkadot could not do the same. Again, I value the systems pretty much equally. Maybe Cardano could be valued a little bit higher, but I do think what Polkadot is going to do for DeFi is going to greatly supersede what Cardano can do in the short term because they're going to be a little bit more agile. Some people might not like me saying that, but again, I equally hold just as much Cardano as I hold in Polkadot in terms of value. They're the exact same percentage in my portfolio. I love both projects and I'm not crapping on either one. I think both of them are going to do extensively well. But again, this video is just about Polkadot, Polkadot parachains, and the Polkadot tokens. So again, for a $200 Polkadot, we are roughly looking at a $200 billion market cap. Now, KSM, Kusama, has been one of the tokens that I've talked about extensively anytime that I talk about Polkadot, and I think it deserves just as much light on it as Polkadot does. Now, it started at a roughly 50 to 80 rank and moved up. Now it's at 28. I do believe KSM can easily reach top 20. I do believe that when Polkadot DeFi is live, we are probably going to see KSM peak into the top 10. Now let's look at market caps again and see how we value KSM, because we notice that KSM is just shy of $500 per token. Now you might be asking, why would I even think of buying a $500 token? Well, again, we've talked about this. It's all based on the market cap. Our market capitalization is roughly $4.3 billion. So it's just over maybe 11 to 12% of Polkadot's current value. And the max circulating supply is 10 million with a current circulating supply of just shy of 9 million tokens. So that means this $4.3 billion market cap is spread amongst this 9 million circulating supply. So that is why the token is this much. Now that means it is going to be easier for this token to increase in value in terms of the overall price. So when you're talking about a $200 Polkadot, it's very easy to start talking about something like a $1,000 KSM, especially when a $1,000 KSM would be just shy of maybe roughly $9 billion. Now, if Polkadot can potentially hit a $200 billion market cap, what could KSM do with just 12% of the market cap? So a $24 billion market cap, which is roughly 12%, of a $200 billion market cap. So roughly the current percentage, we're keeping KSM in line, which I do think KSM will outperform this target. So just keep that in mind. I do just want to show you how fast KSM could grow at the same expected rate of Polkadot, even though we know that it's not the same rate because we know KSM has outperformed a lot of other cryptos. Now, if we divide this by our 9 million circulating supply, we get a $2,666 KSM. So to say KSM can hit 1,000 and nearly double from its point now would not take a lot of money. It would also not take a lot of money for it to hit the $2,500 mark. I think on a low end, we'll probably expect $2,500. I think realistically, we could see KSM even push into the $4,000 mark by the end of this bull cycle, and especially when the parachains are live. Because if you don't know, most parachains test on KSM before they even go onto the Polkadot live chain. Now, that doesn't mean that KSM is a test net at all. It is its own ecosystem with its own projects and its own DeFi, but it is basically the Polkadot code base, and it is basically derived from Polkadot. So a lot of projects end up testing on KSM to make sure the functionality works before they go live on Polkadot. Now, I just want to touch and end this video off with refinance. Now, one big thing before I end this off, one of the biggest things that you can help with these videos and showing these videos is just giving a like to the video. So if at all at any point in this video you got some sort of value, please go ahead and like the video, subscribe to the channel. It all really helps out. But to end this off on Reef Finance. So Reef Finance has obviously gone through a lot of FUD, hate it or love it. There's a lot of people that might dislike that I'm even covering Reef. Personally, I think that there's just a lot of FUD around a very mismanaged company. So I do have my critiques of Reef and the CEO, but that being said, I'm still a believer in the project. I still believe that the project can go places, and I won't fully be able to assess whether or not the project is of value until parachains are live. So until that moment, I'm going to tentatively say that for me, Reef is still a buy, even regardless of the FUD that has come out. We know that there's been some issues with the FX exchange, and there was a back and forth for a little bit. There was some dialogue that we discussed in our Discord channel. That'll be in the description below to join that Discord to get any sort of discussions like that. But that being said, even though there should be some sort of level of calculated risk here, especially this late in the bull market, you should be able to take some risk. And I feel I have a very healthy amount. And if you look at my main portfolio, my number 2 holding is Bitcoin, number 3 is Polkadot, number 4 is Cardano. So I have a good level of support of really safe projects. So it's okay for me to expose myself to a little bit of risk. And I would encourage a lot of you to also do yourself the favor of exposing yourself to a little bit of risk and not giving your life savings over, but still assessing some risk and going in and making a risky bet on something, because that's really going to be the only way that you're going to learn anything in this market. Obviously, you might lose some money, and that's to be expected when you're investing, and this isn't financial advice in any way, but you should at least take the learning lessons from losing a little bit of money to further value tokens and how you can price these out in the future. I do hope this video was helpful for not only helping you guys value Polkadot, KSM, and the parachains that are going to be coming out, but also how to value market caps and tokens and circulating supplies. I know that's a hard concept for a lot of people to get around, especially anyone that's new to crypto. It's hard seeing these big price tags and thinking, well, why wouldn't I buy this one? Because it's so much cheaper. I can buy so many more tokens. Well, it's not about the amount of tokens you can buy. It's about the amount that the market cap can move. That's it for me, everybody. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, and happy hodling.